In this week's episode, we watch Footloose. And content warning, there is some relationship violence in the movie, which we discuss very briefly. There is swearing, which we use a lot. And we forgot to give a synopsis. So if for some reason you haven't seen Footloose, maybe just go read the synopsis real fast somewhere online. Thanks. Bye. Hello and welcome to the I Love You But podcast. I'm Heather and this is my sister,
Rian. Each week we will revisit relics of our childhoods using our multiple master's degrees
to critically evaluate the crap that consumed our misspent youth. So join us.
Sisters, latchkey kids, cuspers, and lazy feminists as we look back on our past to say, I love you, but...
You're wearing a tank top. I'm like, are you wearing a backpack while you're sitting in?
I'm wearing two tank tops in lieu of a bra.
Oh, okay.
It's layered.
I'm wearing one shirt in lieu of a bra.
Well, it's only because I left the house.
No, yeah. So did I. Don't give a shit.
How'd you waste time this week, Heather?
I didn't even waste time thinking about this question.
Same.
It was a really busy week. I put in like 6 hours of overtime before I hit Friday, hoping I could take Friday off. And then I worked most of Friday. I feel like, I finished Citadel.
Okay.
On Amazon. It was okay.
Well, I don't even know what that is.
It's like a spy show. They're trying to create a whole new spy world. It's got that Scottish guy that I like a lot, and
oh yeah, that guy,
Stanley Tucci.
He's not Scottish.
It has that Scottish guy that I like a lot, and Stanley Tucci, and one of the Jonas Brothers' wives, who is very beautiful.
Okay.
And it was very complicated. And then at the end, it was like, oh, and here's what it all meant. And now it's over. And this is going to be like a different cast every year, by the way. It's like, oh. Feel really disappointed by the amount of money that you spent on this. And like, I don't know.
But other shows do that. Like American Horror Story kind of does that.
I don't think American Horror Story spends nearly as much money as this show. Like it was a lot of money. It was a lot of money. There were some decent parts, but mostly I was just like, I think it's just Amazon Studios. I don't know why. It's like either they don't have good enough producers who can like build the show the right way, or what, or if they just don't like, nobody wants to work for Bezos, so like they can't even buy the best property. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think I've liked anything. Like, I never go to Amazon and like, what's going? You know, like I always
Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is like the exception.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, but yeah, like I never just mindlessly browse Amazon Prime for videos to watch. Like I only go there looking for something specific.
Right.
Whereas, like, you know, Netflix, I'm like, do ever, you know, and Max. Not HBO Max. Now just Max.
It's all new. Max.
Just like Duncan.
I used to watch Footloose today, so that was good. Thanks, Max.
You're an ace, Max. What a pal.
How did you waste time this week, Ryan Davis?
I did waste time this week, actually. It was a very busy week for me as well. But it was like a very topsy-turvy week, which doesn't work well with my brain. So like the schedule was different and not like different every day. So it was really hard. Like, you know, you have diagnosed me with adult ADHD. I am seeing a professional in July to see what they think, but it seems like I have some very similar common symptoms of ADHD, and this week's that really came out because it's like just not like, no, like I got there on Monday and the routine was just completely off and completely crazy, and so then it's like hard for me to like focus and make myself actually like be productive.
Yeah.
It's like my brain's just like all over the place,
I
Um,
think I struggled with that this week, but I think it was mostly because, Monday we found out that Dad's treatment options are really limited, which,
yeah,
I mean, I've known he's dying for over a year now, but, there's knowing, and knowing.
yeah, like really
And
knowing, yeah,
and then also, we changed our plans from July to June. So then that meant it was like, okay, well, we got to do this, and I got to clean out my car and put it in the car seat, and it's just like, and do more laundry, and like I gotta go to
yeah,
Sam's. So it was just like my brain just kept like kind of slipping, which would have been fine if I hadn't also been unbelievably busy at work, where they
yeah,
pay me to pay attention to things. So
yeah. Well, I just offset it by just talking a lot of shit with my coworkers, yeah, on
oh,
Friday.
okay, that's
Because
cool.
by the time Friday came around, and it was like same with you, like all these other external factors that were just like fucking with me.
Yeah.
So then it's like we had graduation rehearsal, which was like a lot of standing around while they called 500 kids' name twice
Why?
because they need to practice how to graduate.
No. No, no,
Yeah. Oh,
no.
yeah. No, we do it every year, Heather. Yeah, in the
No.
gym.
No.
And they made him sit on the floor again this year for like 3 hours.
Wait, the students are there too?
Yes.
Oh no, no, no.
Yes.
Mm-mm,
Yes.
no.
They come in, they sit on the gym floor in their rows next to their people. Like we went to graduation rehearsal when I was in high school too.
Oh, I remember mine for a very bad reason.
Oh, I mean, I remember it was like, because I think we went to like Nocona the night before, and
Oh
like,
no.
yeah, I know, it was like the day, like, it was like the day after school, like the day after the
Why'd you
last
go
day
to
of
the town
school.
in Footloose the night before you went to high school graduation?
Why did we go to a town like 2 fucking hours away? Because we were like, we have to be back in time to get to grad. Because I assume it was the same there as it is. If you don't come to graduation rehearsal, you don't go to graduation.
Right.
But anyway, so I took that time to like saddle up to some coworkers that I hadn't, and it was just like a whole, like, I'm gonna shit talk with you, and then I'm gonna go over here and shit talk with you, and I'm gonna go over here and talk shit with you. And I mean, it had been a while since I'd been trying to avoid that for my own like mental health and well-being and like not hating my job for like the last couple of months. So I just was like, that's how I'm going to waste time today.
That's
So,
good. That's good.
yeah. So, yeah, it was fun, whatever. Get it out.
Well, I just need you to know that, we've been doing this podcast for 2.5 months or so, and I think I've had my first real insight
Ever in your life? Does that sound like
about movies since we started the podcast, and possibly for my whole life.
Okay.
Okay, so I literally wrote important and underlined it so that I wouldn't forget to tell you about it. It's also like almost 2 pages here.
That's not an insight. That's like a manifesto, Heather.
Well, some of it is a list, which doesn't really count. That's like bullet points.
Oh, okay.
So movies and music have matured since the 1980s. Agree?
What do you mean by matured? Like the content is more mature, or like?
So it's fantastic for movies, right? Women don't have to take their tops off every time.
Okay.
Characters are multidimensional, and the bad guys get to have backstories, right? Movies mature.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
good
Yes.
for music because it means you can have pop music that also has lyrics that actually mean something. And you've got this huge diversity of music that's considered to be popular music, which is great. But it seems to have been terrible for soundtracks. So like 80s music, it really wasn't art, most of it, especially the kind that ended up on soundtracks. but it was catchy and it didn't really need to be about anything related to the movie. So I've kind of been really regretting I didn't say this last week because it's been bugging me. But, the score for Back to the Future, so powerful, so much better than the movie deserved. Then the song, Power of Love, catchy song, da 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 da, ba ba ba, don't need babe. That song is about just needing the power of love, right, to survive.
Ba-ba-ba-da. Yeah.
How does that relate to the themes of that movie at all? Unless you're talking about Marty's love for the truck that he gets at the end.
I mean, the love of wanting to see his family not disappear.
Really?
I don't know. That was a stretch. Okay, how could you tell me that? All right. So the movie that we watched this week is, can we say it now to argue your point?
We don't make it a secret.
Oh.
We told people
Surprise!
last week. What?
But how is the song? Oh, I dropped you. You fell. Not related to the content of this movie.
It is related. That wasn't my point.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought that's what you were saying. And once again.
No, so to me, part of what I think makes Back to the Future so wildly popular is because you get tricked by the score, which is a separate argument, but true. And also you have this power pop, power of love thing, right? That has nothing to do with the movie at all. But there it is. So pop music is better now, but I want you to think about this, Ryan Davis. When was the last great soundtrack release that was not from a movie that is also a musical?
Garden State.
Okay, there you go, 2004.
That's the last one that I remember getting excited about.
So I have Googled this.
Off the top of my head.
Because this was important to me, so I Googled this, okay?
Oh, okay. It's important if she Googles.
That's right.
Google everything.
There's an argument to be made for Black Panther 2018. Not my kind of music, because I'm white as hell and lame.
Yeah, so I only saw it once.
It's probably good. I don't know. It sounds good. People say it's good. I believe them. And I wrote maybe Garden State 2004. You could make an argument for Twilight. I know you're not going to make that argument, but an argument could be made. Just making a face. Rush Hour came out in this millennium and apparently had a pretty good soundtrack.
It came out in this millennium.
Had some beats, some bops. And then Drive, right? Which half of that is just a really good score. And then the other half of that is really good songs that build that mood. It's all about a mood, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The other excellent soundtracks that have come out, Guardians of the Galaxy, stole all their shit. Rushmore was in the 90s. Royal Tenenbaums stole all their shit. Most of High Fidelity stole all its shit. Trainspotting was almost all old music, Almost Famous, almost old music. And Baby Driver, almost old music. So actually, I'm curious, is it the new millennium that killed movie soundtracks? Or is it licensing costs, or is music too fractured? And real quick before, think about that. But I refuse to rate the Vanilla Sky soundtrack. It came up on lists as being a really good soundtrack because the movie was such a fucking crime against the art of film that I don't even care what the soundtrack was. Do not give a shit. It cannot be considered for anything other than the worst remake that was ever made, ever. To the point
and you've
where
seen a Hilary Duff movie.
I watched the original film. I read Los Ojos, and wrote on Netflix a very short review when I watched it, which was so far superior to its remake as to be completely watchable. Vanilla Sky is the fucking worst. Anyway, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that is true. But then if you think, so if we're talking about Garden State, none of that music was made for the movie.
No, I don't mean music made for movies.
Okay.
If you think about
so we're talking about stole it,
yeah, but think about Pretty in Pink. It had great soundtrack.
But it was music of the time.
It was music, contemporary music.
or music. Yeah. Yeah. No, but I just
Or
remember
Top Gun. Top Gun had a really good soundtrack. I'm not sure about the
yeah.
movie itself, but
I mean, I only said Garden State because, like, I remember when we went to that screening and Zach Braff came out, he said the first thing he did was make, like, a CD
yeah,
of all the songs that he wanted in the movie, and that was, like, what he used
yeah.
to sell it.
I mean, there's like
and
Oh
it's
Brother,
just,
Where Art Thou, but one, you could kind of count that movie as a musical, and two, all those songs are old. So, like, I mean, it's
yeah.
it's
And
not
again,
very
that's more
distinct.
like scoring and,
Right.
old McG or whatever. Is that who did that?
Big G, what?
No, who did that? No, cut that out. Cut that out. I'm
I
like
will
that.
always cut Mick G
I'm
out
like
of
that
anything.
crazy Floridian parent that's like, Oprah Winfrey wrote that poem that needs to be banned. The hill we
Speaking of
climbed.
banning things,
Speaking of banning things,
what'd you
I'm
think
gonna have to
about?
ponder your
Oh, you want to
insight.
continue to ponder? Continue to ponder.
No, I mean I'll ponder and maybe I'll rebut or whatever next week.
Okay,
I
let
need
me
to
know.
ponder
Let me know
more
what you
than
think.
I need to ponder longer than the like hour we have right now.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So, what do you remember about the movie of mouth breathers that is Footloose?
Okay, here we go. Since we've pretty much made it a list fashion.
Do it.
Red Boots, having the soundtrack on vinyl, riding on two cars, no dancing, and how you could. I remember being confused at how you could literally stop people from dancing as a kid. Like, how do you stop people from dancing? Like, John Lithgow dancing in a warehouse, glitter, so much glitter,
That was a lot of glitter.
and tractors is what I wrote down.
Very good. I got Kevin Bacon town hall with Bible question mark,
I
plain
never heard about that.
plain chicken, cowboy boots, dancing, and workout montage. And then I wrote, is Chris Penn problematic? I don't think he's problematic, but he is dead. So there's that.
Yes, he is dead. I feel like he was much more problematic in other movies.
Well, I meant him as a person.
Oh, like as a person?
Yeah. Like he was
Like,
just kind of,
was he?
yeah.
Yeah, like was he someone that someone?
But I
filed?
think I was thinking of Michael Rappaport.
I mean, Chris Penn definitely later in life seemed like someone who would be problematic in his like, tracksuits.
But maybe he's just a problem for himself. I mean, he might have been.
Apparently he was,
His own
because he died of
problem.
heart disease and lots of prescribed medication.
Yes.
Yeah, when he was like 40 or something.
I have a question, Ryan Davis.
Oh, I love a question.
Well, since I'm giving you all these hard brain teasers, are you ready?
Yeah. Okay.
Is this a coming of age movie? Or is it a fish out of water movie? Is it a musical? Is it a romantic drama? Is it a family drama? Is it a made for TV movie? Is it a Western?
Well,
And lastly, is it sci-fi? Because how did they outlaw dancing?
well, here's the thing though, Heather.
Yes, tell me.
It is based on a true story.
I know, I looked that up. How boring.
Okay. So they had outlawed dancing in this small town of Oklahoma
They had.
for
90
close to
years.
90 years. No one wanted to dance for 90 years.
I mean, they probably just danced at home. Like,
Well, they must have been, because when we got to the end of this movie, I was like, where did all these fuckers learn how to dance so well when they haven't been allowed to dance? Like, they don't have YouTube,
yeah.
which is like how kids learn how to dance now. They're just watching YouTube videos. Like,
I mean, if they went and visited their cousins in a real city, they could have watched MTV and learned how to dance from that.
they were not dancing like what was on MTV in 1984. Thank you. That
One
kid
of
doing the
them
Russian,
definitely did.
the like Russian kicking guy that kind of broke into dancing. Well, okay, so I will say, Roger Ebert said of this movie, a seriously confused movie that tries to do three things and does them all badly.
Yeah, like a lot of 80s movies.
Yeah, it was like conflict in a town, like fresh something. I can't read my handwriting. Teenage characters, flashy teenage characters, and a music video were the three things Roger Ebert said it was trying to do and didn't do well.
Yeah, I agree. Although I will say this, of all the bad movies that we've watched, I actually enjoyed this one.
It's an enjoyable movie. I think that without Kevin Bacon, it would not have been an enjoyable movie.
Without John Lithgow, it would not have worked for me at all.
Well, yes. Yeah.
There's a lot of people you could have swapped in for Kevin Bacon and it would have been fine. There's a lot of people you could have swapped in and it would not have been fine. But
who could you have swapped in for Kevin Bacon and it would have
Michael
been
J.
fine?
Fox. He would have been great. You could have put Tom Cruise in. It would have been fine.
I think Tom Cruise actually was one of the contenders for the role.
Asked, yes.
And Rob Lowe, yeah.
Yeah. Rob Lowe, too smarmy. Wouldn't have believed it. I mean, you could have made that Chuck guy the main guy. He had those little dimples. He was cute. He didn't have to be a total dickhead.
Man, I will say, though, Woody,
oh yeah,
the third friend. Whew.
You know who he looks like? I wrote it down so I wouldn't get it wrong. He looks a little bit like Lee Pace, but he also looks like, I think his name is Jacob Elordi. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. He is from Kissing Booth.
Oh, yes. Who also looks like Lee Pace. So, yeah. It's like he's like if this guy, whatever, Chris Laughlin, something I think his last name is, and Lee Pace had a baby. Yeah. It would be the kid from Kissing Booth.
And he was Australian. Yeah.
Was he really?
Well, no, Jacob.
Oh, no, the kid's Australian.
Yeah, that kid's Australian.
Obviously they gave it up for adoption because it was,
a gaby?
A gaby.
Transport this gaby to the colonies. What are you talking about?
Medicine. It was a crime. It's a crime against humanity.
Oh my God.
Sarah Jessica Parker, I didn't remember she was in this.
I forgot about her.
She was fun.
Yeah.
It's another one where it looked like they were all having a lot of fun.
Yeah, although apparently that director was being known for being very exacting, particularly with his female leads. So that makes me not so happy. It also makes me wonder how it was that he directed Steel Magnolias, because I feel like some of those bitches would have been like, get out my face.
Yeah.
No, sir. You sit over there.
Like all
chair.
Of them.
We got this. You stay over there. We got this. Like, very interesting. Yeah.
Well, maybe he just cast such amazing women he didn't have to be exacting.
I guess. He was a choreographer before he became a film director.
See, now that is interesting because you called it a workout scene. I called it a temper tantrum. Like his fucking Billy Elliot, I'm so mad I have to dance scene. Like that choreography and that song did not match up at all.
No, there was a lot of problems with that.
It was like the choreography was great. It was really interesting to watch whoever that wasn't Kevin Bacon. He
had multiple body doubles.
Yes. Dancing all around, but that song was just terrible.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah, that was bad. I don't like the character of Ariel at all.
Let's see.
At one point I even wrote down, fuck that bitch.
I wrote, close your mouth, Ariel. What a cocky bitch with a shit-eating grin.
Yeah. Like I was not.
Why did she have a death wish?
Yes, I was also very bored with her like bullshit death wish shit.
I mean, I feel like if you take a step back and go, oh yeah, her older brother was killed in a car accident, maybe that traumatized her to a point where now she feels like she has to try to face down death to feel something, like you could get there, but it was not there. Like you have to work real hard to,
well, and it doesn't work with the whole I'm gonna get out of this town, I've applied to colleges my daddy doesn't even know about. Like memorizing bus schedules, like those two things don't like
Yeah. I was gonna say I do kind of love that the hero call to action in Footloose is dancing is illegal.
Yeah.
I gotta do something about that.
Y'all can't dance?
Like, dude, it's senior prom. Just get through the year.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
get through the year. Get your GED. What are you gonna do with your life? What are you worried about? You don't need to be in high school. Be done
I
with
do
it.
like
Whatever.
the phrase he said when they told him they couldn't dance when dancing was illegal, and he's like, "Jump back, like
Oh yeah.
get out of here." I was like, "Yeah, I like that one.
I
Bring
think
that one back."
because it originally came out with a rated R, and I think they probably cut a lot of the cursing to get it down. And that makes sense because that is just bad. Like, it was funny, but it was funny because it was like, that's not like something he would say.
Yeah, it was.
I completely forgot that it begins with the music video with all the dancing feet.
I forgot about that too.
That was fun because I remember thinking about how much I really like some of those shoes. The costume designer, we know, is most proud of the rose gold loafers because those were the shoes that appeared on screen with her credit. So, she was into that. That also was just making me want to watch Flashdance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
the
you
leg
can't watch
warmers
this and not feel like chicken and egg MTV Footloose, like, which is playing to which, right? Like, is this trying to be MTV? Is MTV trying to be a movie? Is it like how, you can't not see it. Like, you can see it's like high concept. Like, this is when you start to see music videos on MTV that have scenes from movies in them, right?
that early?
Yeah, I think so.
I guess because people weren't actually making full music videos at that point.
Yeah, I mean, it took a while for them to catch up, right? I mean, and then, Jackson had to go make a freaking
movie music video, mini
featurette
movie.
And documentary. Those kids were having real trouble staying awake in church, Ryan Davis, and it made me wonder if you wanted to talk about when you used to go to church and what that experience was.
I was not a teenager, for one. Sure. I was a child.
Okay, there were children there too, falling asleep.
Yeah,
you're yawning right now.
I had trouble with lots of things in church. I had trouble being still. I had trouble staying awake. And then, so I think eventually what would happen is that I would be so wiggly and annoying and bored that they would just let me fall asleep, because then at least I wasn't making noise.
Oh, I was thinking about a time when you told me
that I kept getting in trouble. And so one day I looked at you and tried to do everything you did because you never got in trouble. Yeah. And like, Mom had yelled at me. Mom and Dad are like, "Sit still, or I'm gonna murder you when we get out of here," but like quietly out of the side of her mouth.
God's not watching.
Yeah, like smiling, like, "If you don't sit still, I'm gonna fucking kill you and beat the shit out of you when we leave here." Peace be with you.
So what happened? Yeah.
It lasted like a minute and then I got bored. Like, I remember like putting my hands in my lap and like if you would move your hand, I would move my hand, and yeah. Oh, I remember, you remember how on the back of the church bulletin they had all the like ads for local businesses and things? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Every week they would have a couple of triangles and boxes that were blank.
Yeah. So
I would fill those in. Like, I would doodle in those boxes, and then when I ran out of that to do, that's when I really got bored. I wonder if now they would just give me a tablet and be like, "Shut the fuck up."
Yeah, probably.
Also, they had like those pillows, so I think when they took the pillows away, that's when I stopped. Or did we have pillows? I don't remember. Like the cushion seats.
I don't think. No, I think we had the bench seats, and then you had to kneel, and you had a little bit of cushion.
Yeah, you had cushion when you kneeled, but I couldn't remember if they had like.
We grew up Catholic, by the way.
Yes, yeah. And even with all that standing and sitting and joining hands and communion, I like still couldn't stay awake for a fucking hour.
And all the singing.
And all the singing. Hour on Sundays.
Our mom turned 30 and decided that she was spiritually bankrupt, and somehow that meant we had to become Catholic. So that was fun. I would like to know, how is it 40 years later and we are having the same fucking argument between people who can read and idiots?
Yeah, I did find that really amusing.
Sure.
Especially with, like, I've already referenced it, like, if you've seen it going around, like, the one parental complaint about the poem, The Hill We Climb.
Right.
And if you've read it and it says, you know, written by, and they put Oprah Winfrey. Like, they don't even fucking know who wrote the poem. Oh, some other black woman. Some black woman wrote it. And then, you know, like, public, like, reviews.
It was Maya Angelou. She's playing a prank.
It is a prank.
Amanda Gorman, I pranked you.
I pranked you from the dead. From the graveyard. I
can't stand it. Kevin Bacon in this looked like two people. One was David Bowie. He really had that going for him.
Yeah, the hair. Yeah, I thought that too.
And our friend Kyle. He really reminded me of Kyle a lot.
Did he?
Yeah.
Huh.
I would also
maybe. Yeah.
People who grew up not Catholic and in small towns. Mm-hmm. What the fuck is church probation?
I think it means it's so that's in school and church probation, so I assume that means you can only go to school and church.
That's what that means?
I would assume that's what that means.
Isn't that what they did anyway? How is that any different?
Well, she went to that, like, drive-in or whatever at the beginning.
She went to get a soda.
Which also, like, how the fuck did they go from church to the drive-in restaurant and it was dark?
Oh, yeah, that was very, very bad continuity. I didn't like that at all. Another
continuity. I have a question for you.
Oh, yeah, Ryan Davis, please bring it on.
How does a tiny little town in the middle of God knows where
have a huge industrial factory in it?
No, that makes sense. Industry, they have one industry. It's fine.
They have tractors. Their industry is farming.
Okay, and it was a mill. It was a flour mill.
All right.
They farm flour. Okay, stop. My question is, how does the high school have a gymnastics team?
Oh, yeah, I had that question too.
A male gymnastics team.
Yep.
What?
Yeah. It's a lot.
No.
I would like to know two things about the I'm real mad, so I gotta dance scene.
Okay.
Where did all that smoke come from? That seems dangerous in a factory.
Yeah.
And Ryan, guess what?
What?
You ain't never.
Never.
I think part of the reason
I think the smoke was him just picking up a bunch of dust from all his mad dancing.
He was breathing fire.
So mad.
I do think that part of the reason I might have liked this when I was younger and why it still kind of is like stan it a little bit, that they had that like graffiti library of banned phrases.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like,
yeah,
they steal my stupid brain. Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah. I wish that was the kind of shit the kids at my school would write on the bathroom walls.
Yeah, that'd be really nice.
Instead of, like, you know, what they do, right? Stuff. Yeah. It was too much with the noir shadows, heavy. Everything was so dark. Like, she's doing homework and it's black as dark as hell. She's got like one little lamp on, and her dad's in the other room in the dark with one little fucking lamp on, typing out his sermon. And it's like, why is it so dark in your house? Like, is it the Blitz? Like, what is happening?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I do know that everybody in this movie had so much collagen and they look so beautiful.
They're so young, yeah.
So many tight
Yeah.
close-ups of just gorgeous, dewy, young skin. It's like, oh, that's so good. I'm glad that Diane Weist,
Yes.
I never know. Finally
Weist,
got to, like, she got to say
talk.
some stuff closer to the
Yeah.
end, you know?
Yeah.
They finally used her. I was like, get the Ferrari out of the garage. She's right there. Use
Yeah,
her.
but they waited until, it was like that town was losing their damn minds and they needed that.
Yeah. So there were a couple of things that I thought, because we probably only ever, I don't think we saw this in the theater, even though we did have soundtrack on vinyl. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But we definitely watched it, cut for TV. So in the exposition scene where they're talking about the town council and how he's going to have to go present before them and all that, they're like, this is really boring. What can we do? Put some naked teenagers in there, right? But
they meet every third Thursday at something. I was like,
you were not supposed to be paying attention to that, right? That was not what that scene was for. But also, I feel like I probably would have remembered seeing a butt at that, at the young age. So I feel like they maybe cut that because you don't need it. Like, it's not like you really needed it to make sense. Like, they could cut that.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I wondered is, I remember before they got to the prom dance at the end, the people kind of all sitting around looking bored and like they didn't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember that fight at the end. It might have been there. I just don't remember. And then I don't remember them having to come in and be like, hey, y'all, remember this is how you slow dance? Like, and then everybody else joins in. I was like mom and dad.
See, but to me, them like, oh yeah, it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a prom, we're gonna decorate, and then they get there and it's like, I mean, it almost reminds me of like some of the like fucking kids shows Elliot watches where it's like, oh wait, we don't know how to dance.
Right. Yeah.
Like, and that made sense. And then suddenly they all fucking know how to dance. Like,
yeah. Yeah, I didn't know. I mean, I just thought, like, I feel like when they cut it for TV, it was like everybody sitting there kind of bored or whatever. Cut all that last fight stuff that was totally pointless.
Yeah.
The like karate, kick fighting, dance fight at the end. And then immediately, Kevin Bacon being like, and like,
yeah. Okay.
Right there. Yes.
So here's what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Playing chicken with tractors.
You want to talk about that?
Tractors at top speed go about 25 miles per hour.
But what if you weren't wearing a helmet and you crashed into another tractor? Wouldn't that be dangerous?
It's like that scene in, like, I don't know.
A Fish Called Wanda?
Yes, where like he's like, oh, Ken is coming to kill me. Or like I think they even kind of did a similar thing in like what the fucking movie with that guy.
I love that movie with that guy. It's so good.
The one about the spy who shagged me. What is it? Fucking
The Spy Who Shagged Me? That movie? Austin Powers?
Yeah, but the Austin Powers, yeah, Dr. Evil, like drives like a very slow, and it's like, yeah. Anyways, also tractors are really expensive.
Oh yeah.
And I remember thinking, so when I was a kid, I remember thinking when his shoe got stuck, I was like, why did they rubber band their feet to the pedals? That's so dangerous.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Not that like his shoelace had gotten all fucked up. One thing that I did not remember from the movie was the like domestic violence situation.
Yeah.
I did not remember that, and I have to say I was a little shocked by that.
I was too. Good old child abuse is what I wrote down.
No, I'm talking. Well, yeah, like when he slapped her. But like
Oh
mom slapped
yeah.
him.
Oh no,
No,
when
I'm talking about
Chuck,
when fucking
yeah,
Chuck beat
when
the
Chuck,
shit out of her.
yeah, is like, I had to hunt you down, and then like beats her, and then is like, I treated you decent. Like, but
The fuck?
you
Current
didn't.
evidence would argue against that, Chuck. Yeah, like you'll
And
spread your
then,
legs for anyone. She slaps him and then he fucking decks her.
oh,
Like,
I know, yeah. I
yeah,
mean, and
but
then she went
bitch with
crazy
the
on his car,
yeah,
so I
she
get
did
it.
good
But
for her.
he didn't have to hit her again. Like he could have just, pushed her out of the way. Like there was no reason to
Yeah,
haul off and punch her in the face again. Like, no. And then
yeah.
the best part was the next scene when she sees Kevin Bacon, she says, I'm sorry you have to see me like this.
Oh,
And he's like, oh, it's okay.
right? Like, I'm sorry, Kevin Bacon. You need to be like, are you good? I'll be right back. I'm gonna go fucking kill that guy.
Well, how does
Like,
that help anything? I mean, that doesn't help anything, but I
I
just,
know.
I,
Oh, I'm sorry you got the shit beat out of you by
yeah,
someone that
I'm
you
sorry some asshole beat you like that.
ostensibly cared about.
It
Like,
really doesn't
yeah.
matter how you look. I'm upset about the situation, not how you look.
Yeah, and then he like kind of gets on her shit. Like, I'm
Yeah, I
not,
know.
don't make my shit about your dad. Like,
They're both kind of dicks.
oh my God, everything in this movie. I mean, Sean Penn and Sarah Jessica Parker and Woody are the only people in this movie, and Mama Weiss,
Yeah.
yeah, are the only people I didn't hate. And John Lithgow, because like he did kind of come around at the end.
He was very vulnerable from the beginning. I liked it a lot. It actually reminded me, did you watch An Education with Carey Mulligan?
Yeah, only once though. It's been a while.
Okay. Well, there's a scene where they're telling her a story and they were, well, we were listening to the BBC and they said that, that this author had died, but we knew that couldn't be true because you told us that you saw him. And there was no way that you would lie to, and it's just like their hearts are breaking because she's like
Yeah,
lying to them and they trust her so much. Like it's just a gorgeous scene. So I think it was kind of like this was a very weak version of that, whereas I think in An Education Alfred Molina does that so beautifully. But I did like that he wasn't just like the hard ass preacher guy. Like he had a real
yeah,
motivation with losing his son,
yes,
and then he's
yeah,
like, no, you can't just go burn books. Like we're not Nazis. Like what the fuck are you doing? Go home.
yeah, yeah.
And
When they were like,
also
"You weren't
the
with us when
couple,
we fired that teacher," and he's like, "Well, I didn't," like,
yeah, I
yeah,
didn't think that we had grounds for that or whatever.
yeah.
The couple that like instigated the book burning, did you see when he told them to go home, how slowly they walked away? It's like, why are they walking so slowly? Do they think he's gonna be like, I'm just kidding, come back, we're friends? Like, what are
They're
they
like,
doing?
maybe if we walk slowly, he'll go away. We can burn the books. Burn the books.
These books are so dangerous. I also like when you can use the Bible against haters.
Yes.
That's the
I also
best.
love that like look between John Lithgow and Diane Weiss where they're and he's like, you, and she's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that was good.
When they realize they're gonna get to have a prom, they also decided to start a dirt bike gang.
Yeah. See,
What
again,
the
that's where I'm like, is it just a series of music videos? Because like the dirt bike thing totally felt like a music video thing.
Yeah,
Like,
because
I was
Ren
sure
had a
about that.
car, girl
Yeah.
riding the dirt bike by herself with a sweater had a car. Like,
Yeah.
is this a place you can only get to by dirt bike? And how did they get all those fucking balloons and other decorations there on dirt bikes?
It's a
Like,
great question.
what was happening?
Okay, so before we get there, you'll remember there's sort of that scene where they're in the church
Uh-huh.
and John Lithgow's up there at the top and he's not saying anything. And everybody's sitting there waiting for him to say something, and nobody's saying anything. He keeps cutting to different groups of people, and nobody's fucking talking. That totally just felt like a David Lynch movie. I was like, oh, how great would it be if all of a sudden this was just a David Lynch movie? That would be so good.
The midget guy comes walking like across the stage.
And Naomi Watts shows up and does the jitterbug so everybody knows how to dance. I don't know. I did have slight Daryl prom flashbacks when they were getting ready for prom with the ladders and the lights and the over stars and all that good stuff. Would you like to know another time in the movie where Kevin Bacon reminded me of our friend Kyle?
Of course.
Do you remember when he went to pick her up? And then he was trying to be real cool and walk real cool and get her in the car, but the car was locked and he had to like go around the other side. Then go back around and be real cool and get her in the car, and then he like kick the door. That was very Kyle to me. That all felt very real cute.
I love that you are crossing off the things you wrote down to talk about as you talk about them, like it's a fucking to-do list. Talked about that, shit, and I've closed my notebook. You still have like
it's a first. I still have a page of notes. That is a first, friend.
With the crossing.
Well, I have to make fun of white people. I need to make fun of white people.
So many white people.
Are you ready for this? I don't know if you know, but white people, especially white people who go to church a lot, they really like cake.
Who made all those cakes?
How many cakes there were at that prom?
But who made them? Because all the adults were like, no.
You think they were going to send them to an illegal prom without bringing a cake?
Without cakes and pies?
It's the South, baby. They're bringing cake. It's happening.
We don't know where they are. There's mountains. That's not the South.
They were in Utah, and there was no reason.
It was filmed in Utah, yeah.
There was no reason for them to have those accents at all. That was crazy.
Yeah, I know. How does she, like John Lithgow, neither her parents have that accent.
Correct.
And she's like, oh, good.
Yeah.
My daddy hates these boots.
Sarah Jessica Parker, while they were at the honky tonk in the other state or whatever.
Yeah.
When she's sitting there and she wants to dance so bad and she's got all that big hair and she's like flopping around. She's like a Muppet.
She did look like a Muppet. I remember that where she's just like going and like she just can't stand it anymore. She just jumps out and goes to dance. Like,
let her dance. That Muppet needs to dance. I did like that the movie ended with a white soul train. I mean, what else was it going to do? It had to end that way, right?
It totally had to end that way. I will say, I think Almost Paradise might be my new karaoke song.
Really? Like for real?
Emily Webb made me do karaoke last weekend.
Oh, that's fun. What'd you do?
But the microphones were broken. She made me do Turn Around Bright Eyes.
Oh, well, that one's okay.
She made it, it was fine. Okay. Yeah. I can't say more than that. We'll get in trouble for copyright violation.
I guess that one's not hard to sing. It's in that register that you like, so that's good.
Yeah, well, you can get like
I think it's more fun if you do a song like that and just do it really deadpan, but you know.
We tried that once. It did not go well, Heather.
I don't remember.
You don't remember doing that in Georgia when we went to Savannah for Tim and Vicky's wedding?
We did it together?
No, you were there. It was a plan we made on the drive because, all of our brilliant ideas happen when we're on a road trip.
Yeah.
And we were driving through the twisty, windy mountains, and it was like, what if I were to sing karaoke, but like without any inflection and absolutely monotone? And we decided I should do Like a Virgin. And it was going so poorly that Lily Brislin, bless her heart, felt the need to like come up and stand right in front of me and be like, yeah, because like nobody got the joke.
I think we didn't pick the right song.
Okay, well, you can test that experiment out next time because I've already taken
Almost
one.
Paradise would be better.
Because it was like a virgin, but nobody got the joke.
I just remember Greg goes, a lot of people in here sing very well, including you. I was like, thank you. I'm not going on stage. Like, not going to happen. I like singing. I'm not doing it on a stage.
Greg Butler. Yeah.
I know.
That happened recently because my Facebook was showing me a bunch of stuff from that trip the last couple weeks.
Oh yeah, it did. Yeah. Happy anniversary, dear friends.
Tim and Vicky.
Tim and Vicky.
Not me.
Not you.
Not you.
Happy anniversary of going to Tim and Vicky's wedding.
Happy anniversary.
Savannah, Georgia is a beautiful place. Everybody should go. And if you drive through South Carolina, you can go to a Piggly Wiggly. So
yeah, and don't stay at the Hilton in Port Whitworth or the Holiday Inn in Port Whitworth, Georgia.
Okay.
Because they have a problem with taking your money over and over and over again a month after you stayed there.
We're putting you on notice, Fort Wentworth. I did a little bit of research after I only wrote down two things. I forgot that Kevin Bacon was in Animal House, and I don't know why, because he was hilarious in that.
Oh yeah, he was like a yuppie, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was like a recruit.
Yes.
So good. Okay, and then I would just like to point out that Sean Penn said of his brother's death that he probably died because of his weight. Despite the numerous drugs that showed up in his toxicology screen. So, to you, Sean Penn, fuck you. Look at Lizzo. Look at lots of other examples of people. Just because you're fat doesn't mean you're not healthy. And just because you're skinny doesn't mean you're healthy.
You are. Oh, yeah. Did I tell you about this so on Tuesday when I got so mad at the world that I had to send my child away? Because I was afraid that I would take it out on him. Good parenting, yay!
You were afraid that you would let your emotions guide your behavior.
My reaction toward his, yes.
Not that you would quote unquote take it out on him in the traditional 1980s and before parenting sense of the phrase. Yes.
Yeah, no, yes. I was afraid it would cloud my judgment and how I would vocally react to his 4-year-old tired end of day behavior.
Yes.
So one of the things that really made me mad is that my students were like, oh, let's watch WALL-E, the movie with the robot, the cartoon Disney movie with the robot, which I'd never seen before.
Yeah.
And I was like, y'all should just watch Short Circuit, but whatever. And I had no idea what the movie was about, but I look up at one point and I realize that it's like WALL-E's living on a spaceship with a bunch of humans who all they do is ride around in like chairs that float. They never walk anywhere, and they eat and drink everything out of like giant cups, and they have like a screen in front of them at all times, and they all wear the like same tracksuit, and every single one of them is fat, and it made me very angry. Which I vocalized to the like 6 teenagers sitting in my room watching this, about how that was I was like, well, Elliot's never gonna watch this movie, and one of them was like, why not? It's like, because it doesn't portray fat people in a very favorable light. Like, if you are an incredibly lazy person, you are obviously gonna be fat, which therefore, but anyway, so I mean, granted, yes, like
that doesn't mean Idiocracy is better because Dax Shepard played that and he was not fat.
Yeah.
He just sat in a recliner and watched TV and ate and sat in a recliner all day, never got up. But he was not fat.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's my thing is like, it's not like, yes, fine, demonize sloth, like being slovenly, sloth-like. Lazy.
We're going to rewatch 7 at some point. I'm sure we'll learn how to say it.
Are we?
Well, I don't know. We may not go past the end of this year. We'll see what happens.
God, I didn't even want to watch The Goonies. You think I want to watch 7?
You know that there's like a whole range of emotional experience that you're supposed to have when you're watching movies, right?
Yes, but I also have a whole range of emotional experiences when I go to work every day.
All right. We'll get you some Xanax so you can continue the podcast. Thank you. That is it for this episode of I Love You But. Join us next week when we discussed Beverly Hills Cop. Yeah. What made you laugh? What made you cringe? What did we forget? And what should we talk about in future episodes? We'd love to know your thoughts. Find us on Instagram at I Love You But Pod and on Twitter at I Love You Pod, or email us at iloveyouButPod@gmail.com. Listener email and comments may turn up in future episodes. Be sure to rate, review, and follow I Love You But wherever you get your podcasts. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for listening. I'm Heather.
I'm Ryan, and we send you lots and lots of conditional love.